Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm doing a drugstore makeup starter kit for beginners or for anybody that just loves makeup and wants to know like what are the best things that you can get for your money. So these are going to be products that I feel like is the most bang for your buck. They're also products that I use on an everyday basis and are my favorites. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and jump into this. So the first two things that I am gonna talk about are foundations. I'm gonna recommend one for oily skin, like normal oily skin and normal to dry skin. If you are the same skin type as me, I'm more normal, just slightly dry, I can get away with using both of these foundations. But the Revlon Color Stay, this is my holy grail long wearing full coverage foundation. If you have more dry or mature skin, I recommend the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. Now this is my holy grail dewy foundation, and sometimes I'll even mix it with the Revlon Color Stay when this foundation does last for a long time, but when I don't want it quite as dewy, I'll mix it with the Revlon Color Stay. Now, the concealer that I would recommend for your starter kit is the Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin Concealer. And I love this because it is full coverage. It's not cakey. It doesn't settle into fine lines. I love this as an under eye concealer and also as a face concealer to cover blemishes. It's just an amazing concealer. It works great on oily skin or dry skin. So this is my pick for that. And then I don't think either one of these products will come as a surprise to you, but for a face setting powder, I recommend the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Powder. This is just my holy grail face setting powder. It works great on all skin types. L'Oreal has so many different shades in this powder. It does have a slight bit of coverage with it because it is a colored powder, but it just perfects your foundation, makes it look airbrushed, and it helps your matte foundations to stay matte. And if your foundation is dewy, it allows the dewiness to shine through. So I love this powder. You guys probably get sick of me raving about that all the time. Now for under eye setting, if you're super dry, I would say maybe skip setting this concealer and just, use it on its own because I don't have issues with it creasing or wearing off or anything like that. But if you are on the oily side or if you just like to set your under eye concealer, I do recommend the e.l.f. HD Under Eye Setting Powder. It's just like one of those kind of white or translucent powders. I don't get any photography flashback with this. It just does an amazing job of setting your under eyes and it is super affordable. The Essence Make Me Brow. They have this in two different shades, in blonde and in like a dark brown color. This just adds a little bit of tint to your brows. It sets them in place so they don't go anywhere, because especially if you have unruly brows, you definitely need a brow gel, and it has little fibers in it, so it does make your brows look thicker. I don't have any issues with the fibers, falling off my brows and getting onto my face. Like, they stay in place all day long. So highly recommend that. And then for filling in your brows. Now, me personally, I usually use pomades or like brow pencils. I do like powders, and I go in my phases. Sometimes I'll use powders. Right now I'm in my brow pomade and pencil phase, but I feel like for beginners, it's a lot easier to use a brow powder. I know when I first started using filling in my brows and really getting into makeup, I always use a powder because I found that it was a lot easier for me to use. And one of my favorite brow powders is the Milani Brow Fix Brow Kit. I love this for more reasons than just, filling in your eyebrows. This is also an amazing palette for eyeshadows. So it doubles for your brows and for eyeshadow. So that's why I wanted to include this, because it's gonna give you the most bang for your buck. The highlight shade in this is my all-time favorite highlight shade from high-end or drugstore. I love to use this as an inner corner highlight or as a brow bone highlight. It also is great as a face highlight. I don't really use it for that as much just because it's kind of hard to get your highlighting brush in here because it is so small. but definitely recommend that. Moving on to other face products that I would recommend for the starter kit for bronzing and contouring and highlighting. The e.l.f. Contour Palette. I highly recommend this palette. As you can see, it is a well-loved palette. I went through a phase where this was the only thing I would use for bronzing, contouring, and highlighting. This is one of my favorite highlighters. I'm wearing it today. It's not so intense that it gives you that super wet look, but it's more of like a natural, just pretty highlight. I mean, it does kind of give you that subtle wet look, but it's not so intense and heavy. It's just more natural. So I love that color as a highlight. It's kind of like a light gold. It's not like a super yellow gold. It's kind of like a white gold. And this powder here, I don't use it too much, but what I like to use this powder for is to either set my under eye concealer or use it in this area right here to brighten, which is what I used it for today. And you need just the smallest amount of that for, you know, putting that right there. You don't want to put a ton of this on your under eye area or it can look cakey, but I just like to, you know, put that right there just to brighten. You could also use this on other areas of your face to highlight. It's not super highlighting on me because it's more of just like my natural skin color. But if you are a darker skin tone, like medium or deep, this would definitely be a highlight on you. This is a beautiful bronzer color, like a really pretty matte bronzer. I used that today for my bronzer. And then this is actually a really great contour as well. It's a little more warm tone than some contouring products like my NYX blush and taupe. This is a little more warm than that, but you can still use it as a contour. I used it as my contour today. So I highly recommend this. And like the Milani Brow Fix Brow Kit, this also doubles as an awesome eyeshadow. Like they also double as awesome eyeshadows. So, you know, it's great for, you know, your face or your eyes. And I love how sleek the packaging is. I love the mirror on this. And this palette is only $6. So highly recommend that for beginners. And then the BH Cosmetics Classic Blush Palette. I love this blush palette. I love the colors in here. It works on so many different skin tones from fair to light, medium, and dark. So I highly recommend this palette for beginners. Plus, it'll give you different options. This palette is $9.99 at Target, or you can also get it at BH Cosmetics, and I think Ulta sells this too. Sells BH Cosmetics, which I didn't know that Target sold BH Cosmetics until today when I was researching the prices on everything, and I saw that some Targets do sell BH Cosmetics, so that is super awesome. And BH Cosmetics has other blush palettes as well if these colors are not your jam. They have the right pigmentation where they're buildable. Like they're not gonna be so pigmented that they're super hard to work with. They have the right pigmentation and they last all day on your cheeks. I'm wearing this color right here today. So this is just my favorite palette from their collection, and I definitely think this is a really good price for the amount of blushes that you get in here. Another palette that I wanted to recommend for highlighting, if you wanted more highlights than just what was in that e.l.f. contour palette, the CoverGirl True Blend Super Stunner palette. I love, love, love this highlighting palette. And I also think that this would work on so many different skin tones. So I really like the last two colors the best. This one here kind of reminds me of the highlight in that e.l.f. contour palette. Like, it does have, you know, a sheen to it, but it is more natural. It's not as intense as the other two highlights in the Super Stunner palette. Like, these highlights are the type of highlights that's gonna give you that super wet, really intense highlight look. So if you know, are just getting into makeup and you love that look on other people, highly recommend this because this is a great price and will kind of get you into that world of super intense highlights. Okay, moving on to eyes now. So my favorite, or one of my favorite eyeshadow primers, and I feel like this is a great price on this, is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. It keeps your eyeshadows from creasing and it helps them to look vibrant all day long. So I highly recommend an eyeshadow primer, especially for beginners, because first starting out with makeup, you're not gonna be like the most experienced with blending out eyeshadows, and sometimes you need something that is gonna help your eyeshadows to be more vibrant and intense if you're just not experienced with blending out your eyeshadows. So I highly recommend the eyeshadow primer. Plus, if you have really oily lids, you definitely need a primer to ensure that your eyeshadows are not going to crease or fade. So this is the one that I recommend. I have been using this so much recently. I mean, I love the Milani eyeshadow primer as well, and the CoverGirl, can't remember the name of it. I just used that one up. It's in my empties. The CoverGirl Lid Lockup. That's also a great eyeshadow primer if you can't find this Wet n Wild one. Okay, for eyeshadows, the eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to recommend for beginners are definitely the Wet n Wild Color Icon eyeshadow palettes. And I really like their 10-pan, I think these are 10-pan eyeshadows. They used to be 8-pan, but they added the transition shades. And the three that I highly recommend and use the most is the Comfort Zone palette, the Rose in the Air, and the Nude Awakening palette. And these palettes are so affordable. You get so many different shades. You get matte shades and shimmer shades. These palettes are around $5, $4.99 at most places. So I highly recommend these. And if you get all three of these, you're gonna have just about any like basic eyeshadow color that you need, because in the Nude Awakening palette, it has a really nice matte black color in here and a good just light bone color. You have just neutral transition shades in here. And then with the Comfort Zone palette, you have some really pretty like warm neutral shades in here, but you also have some fun shimmer colors to play with. So this is probably, well, I don't know. It's a tie for me with these two. These two are definitely my favorites from the collection. And then with the Rose in the Air, I just think this is such a fun palette. This is a dupe to the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. So that is so awesome that you can get a palette that's like 40 something dollars for just $5.90 or $4.99. I mean, that's just amazing. So I don't know. I highly recommend these eyeshadows for beginners. So that is my recommendation on that for eyeshadows. I mean, the Drugstore has so many amazing eyeshadow palettes out there, and you guys know how many different Drugstore palettes I have and love. But for a beginner, I do recommend these because they're going to give you the most bang for your buck. And this will kind of like get you into the world of makeup to let you know, so you can figure out, you know, what you like, what you don't like. So when you venture out to buy other palettes, you know, you'll kind of figure out, are you more into the cool tone eyeshadow palettes? Do you like more neutral or warm tone palettes? So, yeah. For mascaras, my holy grail mascara that I think is just amazing is the Maybelline Lash Sensational. I love this mascara because it gives you a lot of volume and length. It keeps your eyelashes curled all day long. I don't have any issues with it flaking or smudging, so love, love, love that mascara. Okay, for eyeliners. Liquid liner that I recommend is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Pen. This is a dupe to the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. And I feel like the brush on this is great for a beginner because it's precise enough to where you can get a nice wing, but it's not too thin where it's hard to work with. When I got into liquid liner, if the brush was too thin, it made it hard for me to use. Now that I'm experienced with liquid liner, a lot of times I prefer a really small brush because it helps me to just, I don't know, be more precise with my liquid liner. But this kind of gives you the best of both worlds where it's thin enough to get, you know, a nice shape, but it's not too thin where it's hard to work with. And I love Deep Brown is a beautiful dark chocolate brown liquid liner, and then also their Ultra Black. I recommend that for a black liquid liner. They are long wearing, they do not smudge or flake or fade during the day. For pencil liners, now NYX slide on pencils, like slide on glide on pencils, I feel like those pencils are great if you want some really pretty colors. They last for a long time on your waterline, or you can also smudge them on your upper lash line for some color, or on your lower lash line. But for like your basic brown or black pencil liner, I recommend the Wet n Wild long wearing on edge pencils, and I love the black one and the brown one. These last in your waterline forever. Now, they are kind of creamy. They're like a kohl liner, but once you get them on and they dry, they set up and they do not budge. They don't go anywhere. Okay, the last section of the makeup starter kit is lipsticks. And I also too forgot to mention makeup setting spray. I don't know if that's necessarily a must for beginners, but if you are a beginner and you really want to just jump headfirst into makeup, for the makeup setting spray that I would recommend, which I don't currently have it on hand because I have so many makeup sprays that I'm currently going through, but the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set is an amazing drugstore affordable makeup setting spray. It keeps your makeup like lasting all day, like it extends the wear of your makeup, and if you apply too many powders, it helps to tone those down and just make your makeup look more natural. So I do recommend that for a makeup setting spray that is affordable, like the most bang for your buck for, you know, a drugstore makeup starter kit. I gotta take a break for a second. I'm gonna drink some water out of my cute coffee mug that I just keep using. I love this thing. It's so getting me in the fall mood. On to lips, and this was like a really hard category for me because I feel like lip products are so personal depending on what you like and your skin coloring, you know, because what's gonna work on me and what I like, it might not work on your skin coloring, but I'm gonna share with you some colors that I like in case you are my same skin tone. And I wanted to show you guys some brands that I like their lipsticks. You know, like most of the lipsticks that I've gotten from these brands I like, so they should be good for you to pick out any color that you want. For lip liners, the brand that I recommend is the Rimmel Exaggerate Full Color Lip Liners. I love all the shades in this line, and this one here in Addiction is my most used lip liner. If you are a deeper skin tone, I recommend Epic because it's going to give you the same sort of effect as Addiction. I love Epic. I use that one myself sometimes when I want like a darker lip. And if you are a really fair skin tone, this one in Innocence is really pretty. So these are kind of all along the same lines. They're just, you know, they get slightly darker. So I'm gonna swatch these so you can see what they look like. So this one is Innocence, this one is Addiction, and that is Epic. So as you can see, they're along the same sort of lines. I mean, Addiction, I guess, is a little bit more rosy than the other two, but these are definitely my most reach for lip liners. For lipsticks, this was so hard for me. My all-time favorite nude lipstick is my L'Oreal Color Riche lipstick in Ferris Nude, and I feel like this nude would work on so many different skin colors, but it's just a pretty, just mauve everyday pink color, so I highly recommend this. I was just gonna say this was my one, whoa. I just like threw it. I was gonna say that that was my one lipstick that My camera just cut out. I couldn't just recommend one lipstick, but if you wanted a super affordable lipstick, the Wet n Wild Mega Last lipsticks are really good. For the longest time, I didn't really like these because I felt like they were too drying, but now I'm starting to get into these a little more. These are a matte or demi-matte type of lipstick, so if you're not into matte lipsticks, I'd say skip these, but if you don't mind matte lipsticks, I do recommend these, and they are super long wearing. They have so many different colors in these. I love this one in Bare It All, and the other one that I've been wearing a lot recently is this one in Mochalicious, which is a really pretty like brown for fall time, like a warm brown color. I just love that. It creates just like the prettiest fall lip. And I want to say that like these lipsticks are like 99 cents, so they're definitely great for beginners. Another lipstick brand that I love, and I have so many lipstick shades from this brand, but this is the Maybelline Color Sensational Lipsticks. This one here is probably my favorite nude, and this is in Touchable Taupe. My favorite used to be Cinnamon, but they stopped making that, and this is the next lipstick that is the closest to that shade. But it's a really pretty brownish nude. This is also a great color for the fall, but I love just their normal sensational lipsticks because they are glossy and moisturizing on the lips, and they last for a long time. Maybelline also makes matte lipsticks that are also really great, so any of the Color Sensational lipsticks I highly recommend. And then CoverGirl, their Exhibitionist lipsticks, they kind of like repackaged and like redid some of their older ones and then released some newer shades as well. But this one here in Trending, this is their demi matte finish. I love this color. It's another one of those colors that's like a kind of a nude mauve brown shade. It's similar to Touchable Taupe but matte. I recommend this, and there's so many different colors in this line that I like, and I think they're great quality lipsticks. And then if you're not into lipsticks and you like more of a gloss or a balm, the L'Oreal Color Re-Shine lipsticks is what you want to get. And these two shades I just picked up recently, but I have fallen in love with. You guys recommended these to me in my L'Oreal must-haves video. I asked you guys what your must-haves were, and so many of you guys recommended these to me, and I have been loving these. But the shade in Glossy Fawn is like a nude, like a peachy nude, and it's very moisturizing on the lips, and it's more lightweight than like a lipstick, but at the same time it lasts for a while. And then this other one in Varnished Rosewood. This is a pretty pink mauve, so if you're more into like these shades, I did want to recommend some liquid lipsticks in case you wanted to purchase some of those and know what shades to get or which brand from the drugstore is really good. The Wet n Wild Liquid Cat Suit liquid lipsticks are really awesome liquid lipsticks. I do like these. They can be slightly drying on the lips, so they are good to top with a gloss, which I have a gloss that I'm going to recommend for you guys as well. But these are super affordable liquid lips, and I love the colors in their selection. This one here is in Rebel Rose, and this is probably my favorite color from the line. It's the shade that I have on my lips today. It is just so beautiful and very long wearing. And then I know that these liquid lipsticks are kind of hard to find, but the CoverGirl Queen Collection major shades in Cakewalk and in Insider. These are actually new ones that I picked up, and I wanted to show you guys these so you could see what the packaging looks like, because the ones that I have, I've used them so much that the writing has just completely worn off. But I'm gonna swatch these to show you the tones of them, which they're kind of similar to those L'Oreal lipsticks, just like in liquid lipstick form. But they're so long wearing. The formula on them isn't like thick or goopy. They feel really lightweight on the lips, and I love both of these colors. So this is the Insider, the pink one, and then this is Cakewalk, which is more of the brown kind of nude color, the nude brown color. Okay, and then the last lip product that I would recommend for a beginner starter kit, and I'm not saying with these lip products you need all of them for your makeup starter kit. I'm just showing you some ones that I like from different brands so that you can figure out what you need to get, because I didn't want to just recommend one lipstick, because I feel like I said, I feel like, you know, lipsticks are so personal depending on your skin color and everything. But this lip gloss, I feel like would work on anybody. This is what I like to use to top any of my liquid lipsticks or lipsticks if they're getting dry. Now I know that this does have a little bit of color to it. This is in the shade Bare Enough, and this is from the brand Soap and Glory, and this is called Sexy Mother Pucker lip gloss or whatever. But it's just a really sheer, just nude, which when you put it over lipsticks, it doesn't really change the color of them at all. It just helps them to, I don't know, it helps your lipsticks to be more hydrated. And like I said, if you have a liquid lipstick that you want to look glossy, you can put that on top of it, which I didn't use this today over the Wet n Wild liquid lipstick. I used a different lip product, but I have used this over this lip product. Let me just put some of it on there so you can see what it looks like. So like, as you can see, it doesn't change the color of it. It just adds a little bit of glossiness to it. And this is a lip plumper, but I don't notice like a whole lot of plumping with it. Like, it doesn't sting my lips really bad and hurt. It does kind of tingle a little bit, but it's not too intense. If you are a beginner, I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you are new or if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Make sure that your notifications are on so you don't miss a video from me. I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye-bye.